Welcome everyone. Today I gonna discuss about something especially about the innovative leading education system. So leading innovation in education. Introduction, leadership, innovation and why leading innovation become 21st century school leading innovation in education, project based learning by doing. Leadership, a process of intentional influence with the ability to motivate others to gain support to achieve a common goal. Good leaders, made not born, effective leaders desire and willpower through a never-ending process of self-study, education, training, and experience. To inspire your work into higher level of teamwork, you must be know, and do. Innovation means fast different than better. It is a different way of doing things than result in better than different and outcome. Both the different and the better must be significant and substantial. Leading innovation in education process of facilitating learning, transfer knowledge, skill, value, belief and habit of to other through storytelling, discussion, teaching, training or research. The reason for education is simple and straightforward, that to prepare student, predominantly young adult, and for future success. Leading innovation in education, doing things rapidly different rather than just doing them well, are just trims of execution, not innovations. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expect different result. Innovation in education should be defined as making it easier for teachers and students to do the things they want to do. These are innovations that succeed and scale and sustain. Leading innovation in education. Educators need to think of innovation as though action that significant challenge key assumption about those and the way they operate. They are asked to question the box in which we operate and to innovate outside of it as well as within. When it is come to educations, what does leading innovation means to you? Leading innovation in education. Leading innovation. Educational leadership practice the focus on turning ideas into action to successful navigate the ends to end innovation execution process. In leading innovation, transform yourself, your student, your schools, your cultivate the habits and mindset of innovators to open the floodgates you can take with confidence. Leading innovation in education, improvement versus innovation. Many of other charter school and organization making huge improvement in traditional outcome for a student. Most are not new or different. Many of the proposed improvement in teacher education and evaluation, student assessment and school design in traditional public school do not seems to be novel. Yet the challenges that we face in improving learning and life outcome require true innovation. As Washer said, we need solutions that are both different and better. Driving innovation and coalition. Innovation are commonly thought of as new and game-changing. However, many innovations are improvements on something that already exists. It is important to create a culture of innovation within your organization, which means support productive failure. The stage cyber of innovations will help your organization become successful in identifying new ideas, implementing and integrating them into your operation. You must ingrain this cycle into the DNA of your organization. Leading innovation in education. Blink. 10 years pass by. It is now end of 2015. Brand new generation of institution leader is taking the reins. The world has continued to the shrink and is a much smaller. Technology continued as unadapted, unchecked progression. What is new futuristic has become components. Complexity is the daily norm. Change the only constant. Opportunity, problem, and grand challenge about. Will this new generation of the leading be innovative or follower? Strong, resilience, problem solver, servant of the status quo? The answer has in everything to do with education or how education is adapted to the realities and wonderful opportunities of the not too distant future. Why leading innovation in education? Rejecting the use of majority of the classroom time for the sample transmission of the facial transmission to the student, changing student to think critically, communicate lucidly, and synthesize border in order to solve problem, and adopting a psychology of evidence-based education as a core construct of instruction, innovation, and reform. The principle of traditional education. The principle of evidence-based educations now. The principles are mutually reinforcing and intercalated. Is it better for a student to be involved in innovative practice than practice in the highly effective traditional program, or should we play it safe and have them attend a school that look like the school we attend 30 years ago and our parents 60 years ago and grandparents 20 years ago? Currently, most schools are not much different than one our grandparents attend in the 1920. For fair selections, everybody has to take the same exam. So, what is innovation leadership? Innovation leadership is a synthesis between a different leadership style in organization to influence to produce creative idea, product, service, and solution. The key role is the practice of innovation leadership is the innovation leaders. Innovation leadership is an approach to organization development can be used to support the achievement of the missions or vision of an organization or school. In an ever-changing world with new technology and process, it is becoming necessary to think innovative in order to ensure their continued success and the stay competitive. Adopting the new challenges in leadership. The need for innovation in organization has resulted in a new focus in the role of leadership is shaping the nature and success of creative effort. In order to adapt to the new challenges within innovation leadership, organizations are likely to struggle. Leading innovations in education, the 21st century shift innovation thinking. This new college shift from 20th century of traditional view of organizational practice, which discourage employee innovative behavior, to the 21st century view of evolution innovation thinking as a potentially powerful influence on organization performance. Leading innovation in education. 21st century career is all about change in thinking, strategies, behavior to those work in the new, ever changing and challenging environment, meeting the challenge of the time. And need to keep yourself current, resilient through continuous learning as well as collected to your values in the career of 21st century. Leading innovation in education in 5C of 21st century skills. To live and succeed in present world, students need to critical thinking skill to learn how to learn using technology, communicate, collaborate, create. Communication, collaborate, create, to synthesize border in order to solve problem and thinking creatively. Leading innovations in education. Today, almost anyone can open up a web browser and access infinite system of information at the touch of a finger. The only limitation factor being one: curiosity and imagination. Leading innovation in education. We need to teach student critical thinking skill to discern new challenges and opportunities from the flux and craft of the instant access information. Reasoning, analyzing, evaluation, decision making, and problem solving. This critical thinking skill have become a core competency in every workplace. Leading innovation in education in 21st century. A technology become more integrated in your lives, and in order to adopt, we need to teach students to use technology efficient and effectively, ethically, appropriately, and respectfully to solve problem and think creatively. What works before does not work today. To make effective sense of unfamiliar situation and complex challenges, we must have a grasp the whole situation, variable, unknown, and mysterious focus. This required skill beyond everyday analysis is requires innovation leadership. Leading innovation in education. If a children can learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Teach the way they learn require innovation in education in corporate current 21st century skill and teaching methodology. The only consent that stay in today's era to stay competitive, manage the present and plan the future. Without change for the better, there will be no continuous improvement to the competitive in the current global competition. Are you upgrading? Go through the six skills from the top to bottom, sum up the total, and see you 21st century literature. Workshop in 21st century skills and literature. The 70 best apps for the teaching and students. Citizenship using the internet and social media is a responsible and ethically way. Digital leadership using the internet and social media to improve the lives, well-beings, and circumstances of other garage. I am a responsible digital citizen. I use internet and social media. I am an inspirational digital leader. I use the internet and social media. Become a 21st century schools. Successful schools have a clear sense of directions through vision statements, share and directive through a vision process involve all member of the schools of our once affirmative. It needs to be able to be articulated by all. When achieve all can then align their effort behind the visions and through self-reference and development the school will reach translated into the reality by means of a teaching framework or brief system. Becoming a 21st century schools, five core skills of innovation framework is required: people, process, and philosophy. Instructional leadership, define school missions, managing instructional program, promote school climate, farming school goals, communicating school goals, supervise evaluating instruction, coordinating curriculum, monitoring student progress, protecting instructional time, maintain high visibility, promoting professional development, providing incentive for learning, provide incentive for teaching. Becoming a 21st century schools, our visions, learning transfer to life beyond the Bago schools district experience, enable each student to flourish as a responsible citizen in the global communities. Becoming a 21st century school or districts, we need different kind of 80% of the employees say that if the student have mastered core subject and critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creative thinking, they will be ready for the challenges of 21st century ecology. Growth of the survive economy. Today 80% of the country job are in the service economy and the number in head 85%. Are you prepared, your young people, for a world in which most job require listening skills, empathy skills, problem solving skill, communication skill, collaboration skills, and the ability to customize solution? Becoming a 21st century school discuss changing in citizen. Has your schools and district considered how the requirement for being an effective citizen have changed in last 21st century? Biggest changes in society, changing in nature of information. Are your student being prepared in which by 2020 the amount of technical information in the world will double every 18 months? Are your student learning how to discern, aggregate, synthesize information in adding to knowing? Becoming a 21st century capabilities. As you consider the social change, think about what skill your student will need to negotiate all of these changes. Becoming 21st century self-direction, a very important and unpredictable skill in 21st century. If someone at Apple needs to be managed and they are no longer employable, are you preparing your student to be self-directed and self-managed? Global competence, skill to influence global awareness and cultural understanding while also utilizing the technological resources available to teaching and student today. Employ teachers and students to develop deep cultural knowledge as a result influence, identify, and worldview. Becoming a 21st century schools, global competitive. Teachers and students also engage with world issue and changes and conceptualize ways to address them together. Becoming a 21st century's capabilities, consider the seven skill would you have. Within the list of seven skills centuries outcome, you can see how education leader have used this listed. What can you do become strong innovation leaders in your schools? What are you doing to do more or of becoming a leaders? Leading innovation in education. Imagine education nations a learning society where the education of the children and adult is the highest national priority, on par with a strong economy, high employment, and national security, where learners also take advantage of information experience offered through museum, libraries, church, youth group, park, as well as via the media. Leading innovation in education. Mentoring, as innovation practice being implemented in a school across the nations. Mentoring consists of experienced teacher assisting new teachers to the field. Mentoring student to mentor other students are on the rise, helping new students to integrate into the school, access to conflict resolution, and do peer tutoring. Mentoring provide opportunity to be leaders and help unify the students. Innovation learning, project-based learning, training, a classroom learning information is rapidly disappeared. Innovation way to becoming engaged in the learning process and to increase content knowledge occurring in the community, working in the project to constant in itself. Project-based learning. Project can show student how diverse discipline as English, science, and math are interrelated, can be developed to accommodate almost any curriculum. A science teacher build an electrolyzed with the student to demonstrate electrolyze of water to its gas form. They learn all the skills of the build. They were engaged in the process. They enjoyed to build the projects and gain confidence in their abilities. Project-based learning, learning based of innovation of schools. Misconcept about project-based learning and structure class unit and lessons within the BPL environment within the different strategies. There are different kind of strategy are helping them. Clicking the temperature of the room, teachers need to be observed, frequently checking the temperature of the room. Recognize time when student engage in lagging, when the work product in low quality, or when a project work for some but not necessary to all. Rather than seeing these moments as failures, response with reflections and actions, times when we learn and strengthen our practice. Troubleshooting project-based learning, no lesson plan is impeccable. It can later fall flat due to personalities, group dynamics, time of day, and what else. Teachers need to find ways to adapt, read the group, change their approach, modify their plans in order to make lesson work in different contexts. Troubleshooting project-based learning when frustrated with your design project, with your school students, or the climate in the classroom. Are students sharing work in process with the class in order to inspire others and help those who are struggle? Do your students have access to quality resources that can push their idea towards? Are students getting feedback from me and from their peer during the process? Can student work be shared with a wide audience? Do students feel that their work is valued and celebrated? Am I giving student opportunity to do work with matters? Do students have meaningful choice? Am I providing opportunity for student to be creative? Have I provide models for the work and clearly explain my expectations? Are large project chunks into pitch and have student who missed checkpoints gotten the help that they need? These are the different kind of things and process. Classroom example, some of my students are being the process of creating education vision statement in the form of digital stories. They have already written about meaningful learning experience, and together we read and discount different ideas about school and unschooling. Classroom example, they will write script for their own stories and begin productive. We will link each of their video from a website that we will build and then share the final products. Each of these steps will require extension, consultation, thinker, and revision. There will without a double be conflict, frustration, and misleading. A classroom example, next week I will set them loose here the sequence of event. As a class, I will brainstorm question for investigation. Student will research and create annotated bibliographics. My plan will need to change and I will surely encounter obstacles that I am not anticipate. I will persist and work to convey my faith in my student ability and their potential to produce high quality product. These are the investigation miscellaneous of PBL. The project will succeed. Student will be doing work that matter to them, work that deserve to be out of the work. They will be motivated to share the idea and passions to in create ways, knowing that their voice will be heard. The first try of the project-based learning PPL's idea should be graded in theory, creating project that help students learn educational concept. It allows students discover things for themselves and teacher work around to answer specific question about the assignment and make sure the student were tasked. The first try of the project-based learning in reality only some are able to finish the assessment, but other were still in the early stage when the project was nearly due. Learning by doings. Set 1. Set clear goal. Number 2. Over plan. One of the grand things about BPL is that it has different instruction built into it. The second time I assigned this project, I also had my student read an outside novel for overworks. Make students accountable for their time. I had students share their work with me through Google Docs so I could see their progress on a daily basis. Give concentrated deadline for products. This help make a project seems like a goal that we accomplish, a added steps to be completed by the end of each day. Share rubric in advance. Rubric help your student insight into the design of the project. This help them understand what they should be taking away from experience. For example, when my student had to write essay about their project, they were kind of lost. They were summarized instead of analyzing. So my second rubric listed terms and device that I want to see in their essay. One reason why projects went smooth the second times was because I took notes about the positive and the negative first times that we did the projects. Reflect on what you are doing. As stated earlier, we grow and develop each day. To add educational leaders, adaptations, and everything, we can play a very important role in an effective way. And by this way, we can grow our economy and our sustainabilities in an effective way. If you have any kind of question regarding quality educations and the innovative education, you can communicate with us. Thank you, everyone.